It's Big Swear. Just in case you forgot, all markets are rigged. When I say all markets are rigged, I mean all markets are rigged with computers and derivatives. I've been screaming it for over 10 years, since 2007, since I found the original Road to Ruta documents at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. All markets are rigged. It's a click of a mouse by Steve Mnuchin or the Exchange Stabilization Fund. That's crypto markets, that's gold and silver markets, that's the Dow, bond markets. Every single market is controlled and rigged. Today, White House Larry Kudlow repeats the same bullshit once again. Kudlow does not want to predict the U.S. trade talk outcome. Kudlow says something and boom, all of a sudden the algos kick in. Steve Mnuchin clicks his mouse at the basement of the U.S. Treasury, which is a computer trading floor, and boom, stock market saved. Voila! Look at that. Just as it was going down, it was saved. Amazing. How could that possibly happen? And they decided to give the crypto people a little respite today. So nice of Mr. Mnuchin to do that. He clicked his mouse and all the cryptos are in the green. What a sweetheart. But we can't have gold and silver do anything. No. That's going a little too far. We can't click that mouse today for gold and silver. We're going to just sit on it because we've been sitting on it for 150 years. The silver price has been suppressed for 150 years. Why would they release it today when they've been able to control it for 150 years? Why would they release it ever? Why would they release any of this stuff ever? That gets to the road to Ruta theory. I used to think they can control it forever. Why would they ever release it from control? You gotta go to roadtoruta.com and look up a presentation I did called Golden Oldies to the Crypto Future. I'm going to play a little bit of it, the part that talks about when I first discovered the comic books at the Federal Reserve Bank, what they mean, and Alan Greenspan and computer market rigging. Alan Greenspan was the world's best financial computer market rigger, programmer in the 1960s and 70s. He's the guy who screwed up Y2K, him and his friends. Screwed up Y2K, only programmed 2 digits instead of 4. He was an expert computer programmer throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And now he's like 92, 93 years old. You want proof? Here, listen to this.
Really did have a secret agenda, and it was playing out to this very day. So on January 1st, this is what the website looked like. Each of these comics, and why I was there on January 1st is anybody's guess, but this is the exact day because I was there before, and this comic book was not listed on the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston website. So it was January 1st, 2007, and they were both posted with 2 big red exclamation points after them. Clearly somebody wanted somebody to find this, and amazingly, that's what I did. Check out the gold, or the red exclamation points right there. Below that is the website. You can still find these comic books there, at least the updated version. Took a bit of searching to find the original version, the 1981 version, but you can still go to the Wishes and Rainbows site on the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston website. And it's under educational resources is where you'll find it, or just do a search for Wishes and Rainbows in the search function. So this is what kind of the comic book looks like. It's about a story about a little girl named Ruta, and that was really puzzled me. Where did they come up with that name? And Ruta lives in a world of no color, very afraid of the big people who might step on her, and has this mentor/grandmother who talks about the need for a gold standard and the need for color in life and scarcity and how they value scarcity in life. Really, really interesting stuff. But so I looked up the term Ruta, R-O-O-T-A, Ruta. Hard to find anything until I came across this. In computer programming, computer science, a tree is a widely used abstract data type, an ADT, that simulates a hierarchical tree structure with a root value and subtrees of children with a parent node. Remember that word node represents as a set of linked nodes. So this is a conceptual picture of what the root structure in computer programming looks like. Each letter represents a node. The arrows from one node to the other are called edges. The topmost node at the very top there with no incoming edges is known as the root, or node A, also known as root A, ruta. The bottom nodes with no edges are the leaves, nodes D, I, G, and J. So that's what in computer programming, that's what root A is. And then I found this in a 1971 IBM manual on financial computing. This diagram is about how to program a computer to understand financial terms, and it just struck me as very odd. There's that name Ruta, and I really couldn't find much about Ruta anywhere on the internet. And I was digging through manuals. I wanted to learn about the computer programming aspect, as I did some computer programming in the 80s. So I kind of remembered a little bit about it, but not really. And then I found this, and it really does show off that computer programmers use the term root A in the very basis of our monetary system. And then we got into someone who most people don't know was a computer programmer, Alan Greenspan, of all people. Very, very interesting person. Most people know him from the Federal Reserve, how he would just babble on and not make much sense. That was actually his job, was to not make much sense. He was trying to throw people off the scent of what was really going on. And Alan Greenspan specialized in something called econometrics, which is the use of computers in statistical theory and mathematical statistics to evaluate and develop economic methods. He was a childhood friend of John Kemeny, who created the first shareable computer program called BASIC. And they were really competitive childhood friends as to who was smarter, and they were both brilliant in their own right. In Alan Greenspan's book, The Age of Turbulence, Greenspan blames himself for the Y2K problem. And remember, the Y2K problem was somebody originally had programmed 2 digits for the year instead of 4. At the time when he was writing these programs in the 60s and 70s, Greenspan didn't really fully understand how embedded computer programming would be. So it didn't really click to him to program with 4 digits for the year when it changed over to 2000 from the 1900s. Really interesting stuff. So yes, when Al Gore said I invented the internet, it was seen as a joke. When Alan Greenspan says I invented, which he never did, I invented the unbacked financial electronic computer monetary system, he actually did do that. This guy Lowell, in Greenspan's office in Manhattan, he had a secret computer lab attached to his office. So he had his regular office where he would meet clients, and right next to it was a door leading to another room which had all the computers. And there was a computer lab. This guy named Lowell Wolfbank, a member of Ayn Rand's collective, ran the computer hardware. He was known as the overpaid copy boy, because none of the secretaries or other people working in the office knew why this guy got paid so much, because all he was an overpaid copy boy. They didn't even know what computer programming was back then, but they just saw Lowell in there all the time. They thought he was just making copies when he was actually operating the computer hardware and running the punch cards in the beginning, and then the computer software. And through Alan Greenspan's mentor, Arthur Burns, who was the head of the Federal Reserve System, Greenspan was able to secretly control all market prices via computer market rigging and derivatives from the early 1970s. Market controls continue today using the Exchange Stabilization Fund and prime dealer banks, with the CFTC and the SEC providing regulatory cover for the manipulation. So all markets have been under control of these computer program simulations, basically, and they control every single market that we have that is electronically based, which is almost all of them.
So that's a quick snapshot of what I've been saying for years since I discovered this information 10 years ago. I beg of you, watch Golden Oldies to the Crypto Future. I'll put it right at the top of the website at roadtoruta.com. This is the reason we have computer program algo trades like this, why cryptos go up, down, or sideways, why silver goes nowhere. It is 100% the original computer programs written by Alan Greenspan in the very early 1970s, implemented in the 70s, 80s, 90s. That's why the world's biggest gold bug was put as the head of the Fed in 1987. Everybody was scratching their head. Why did Reagan and the good guys, as I call them, put Alan Greenspan, the biggest anti-Fed person on planet Earth at the time, in charge of the Fed? It was absolutely to continue the control. And Greenspan's plan was to absolutely flood the world with money, and that is what's happening right now, till the final end game. And the final end game in the road to Ruta is the destruction, total destruction of the old system, and reallocating money according to Social Security balances in the United States. That was the original plan. And what that money could be, back then it was gold, obviously. I don't think there's enough silver, but it was gold. There's a hell of a lot of gold. Now it's probably cryptos. They have access. I believe they have access to the Satoshi Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and all the other things, and they will reallocate it according to Social Security balances in the United States. That's, I think, one of the plans, but it has to be approved by people. So that's the other thing. We will have a choice. We'll have a choice of what we use as money, and hopefully they'll all be viable and available to us to use, for us to use, without Congress, without the SEC, without the CFTC chiming in at all. A truly free currency system. But we will see. Anyway, I'm going to put this Golden Oldies to the Crypto Future at the top of the road to Ruta on the free side. Go check it out and hang in there. We're getting near the end. I'll talk to you later.